Welcome to the Deep Dive. Okay, today we're plunging straight into something that, well, it touches pretty much every part of our lives. Agency, that feeling, the feeling and the reality, I guess, of being in control of your life, your choices, your actions.
Yeah.
And you, our listener, you shared this fascinating bunch of articles digging into exactly that, what it means, how the whole idea developed.
Right.
And maybe most importantly, how we navigate the stuff challenging it today.
Yeah.
How we can, reclaim it.
It's so relevant.
Totally.
Yeah.
So our mission here is to unpack all of that, give you a clear, maybe more actionable grip on this really essential part of being human.
And what's great is how universal this is, isn't it? I mean, whether you're facing huge life decisions or just feeling swamped by daily stuff.
Yeah, the small things too.
Or maybe you're just curious about what shapes your sense of self.
Right.
Understanding agency gives you some, genuinely valuable insights, almost like tools for life.
Absolutely. And the sources, wow, they were great. We've got the bedrock site concepts, tracing the history.
Yeah, the foundations.
Right up to these really sharp modern takes on tech's impact. And even some super concrete things we can do day to day.
Practical stuff.
Exactly. We're going to try and connect the dots across all of it, build a really full picture for you, hopefully an eye-opening one. Okay, let's get into it. At its heart, what is agency?
Okay. So, simply put, agency is your ability to act intentionally.
Intentionally, okay.
Yeah, it's that capacity you have to make choices, to take action, and to actually exert some influence, over your life, the world around you. Yeah. The key thing, I think, is that feeling of being in the driver's seat, making the decisions, as opposed to, feeling like a passenger just carried along.
Right, yeah, you've got the steering wheel, not just watching the scenery go by. Makes sense. So where did this idea even come from? Feels kind of basic, like we should always have known it.
Well, yeah, but thinking about it specifically goes way, way back. The earliest roots are really in philosophy, debates about free will.
Free will.
Okay. That classic question. Do we really control our actions? You look back at ancient Greece, Aristotle, folks like that, wrestling with how much, say, humans have versus, fate or the gods. Yeah. Those early chats really laid the groundwork for thinking about our capacity for choice later on.
Interesting. So thousands of years back, what was the next, big jump?
The Enlightenment, definitely. 18th, 19th centuries, that was a huge shift. Thinkers like Immanuel Kant.
Kant, right.
Yeah, he really stressed the power of human reason, our ability to make independent choices based on rational thought. It was kind of a break from older views, divine will, social status, deciding your path.
So less fate, more thinking for yourself.
Pretty much. Kant argued really strongly for the individual's capacity for autonomous decision-making. His focus on rational choice, it's a good reminder, even now with all the noise, that we can consciously weigh our options. That's a power we can use.
Okay, so a shift towards individual power, reason, choice.
Yeah.
Then psychology comes along as a science. Yeah. How did that change things?
Right. So late 19th, early 20th century, psychology starts looking at agency scientifically. William James, big name in American psychology.
I heard of him.
He talked about will, that mental energy, right, for making decisions, acting on them. But it wasn't exactly a straight line. Behaviorism came along.
Skinner and the pigeons.
Exactly. Like B.F. Skinner. They challenged it, suggesting our actions were mostly just responses to stimuli in the environment, basically downplaying internal agency.
So we were just reacting.
That was the idea. Behaviorism saw us as, reacting machines, essentially. Which is a stark contrast to agency, isn't it? It's good to know that opposing view to see how others fought to bring back conscious choice.
Right, the reward punishment thing, like sophisticated robots just reacting. But, our own experience feels like more than that, right? Where's that feeling of choice?
Exactly. And that feeling got a boost mid-20th century. Humanistic psychology really brought it back. Carl Rogers, Abraham Maslow.
Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah, him. They focused back on the individual's potential for growth, self-direction, that drive to become, your full self, all key parts of agency.
Okay.
And around the same time, social psychology added a lot too. Albert Bandura, big one there. His concept of self-efficacy.
Self-efficacy, right? That's believing you can do something.
Precisely. Believing in your own ability to succeed at specific things, achieve goals. It became a cornerstone for understanding agency. Believing you can, that directly impacts what you actually do. It's powerful.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy, almost. If you don't think you can, you might not even try. Makes total sense. That's part of agency. Okay, so we've got these different angles. Humanistic, cognitive. Can we kind of break down what each perspective really stresses about agency?
Sure. So you've got humanistic, like we said, really emphasizing personal freedom, the drive to improve yourself. That's central to their view of agency.
Okay.
Then cognitive psychology looks at how our thoughts, how we interpret the world, shape our choices and actions.
Or thinking matters.
Absolutely. Social learning theory builds on that, showing how our beliefs, especially that self-efficacy we just talked about, really drive behavior.
Beliefs drive action. Got it.
And then existential psychology. That dives into how we create meaning in life through the choices we make, especially when things are uncertain.
Creating meaning.
Yeah.
How does that link?
Well, think of it like this. Existentialism says life doesn't hand you a manual, right? So the choices you make, that's what actually builds your personal meaning, your purpose. It's agency in action at a really deep level.
Wow.
What's cool is seeing how each adds a layer. Agency isn't just simple free will. It's complex. It's our internal state, our beliefs about ourselves, how we interact with the world, all mixed together.
Okay, this is much richer than just I choose, therefore I am. So bringing it to today, the sources we looked at really hit home that agency now.
Yeah.
It feels both more important and maybe more under threat.
That's exactly right. It feels more crucial, but also potentially more fragile.
Yeah.
Because of the speed of change, the sheer complexity of modern life.
Let's start with technology. That's unavoidable. Seems like it empowers us hugely, but also maybe chips away at our control.
Definitely a double-edged sword. On one hand, yeah, the internet gives us access to information like never before. That can expand agency, right? Makes you more informed, aware of options, social media platforms. They can be outlets for self-expression, connecting with others, even fueling movements, giving individuals a collective voice and power to influence things.
Like digital activism.
Exactly. And things like online learning, remote work, obvious examples of tech giving us more flexibility, more control over how and where we live and work.
For sure. Learning anything online, structuring your work, huge boosts to agency.
Yeah.
Okay, but the flip side, how does tech undermine that?
Well, think about algorithms. They curate so much of what we see now.
Our feeds, yeah.
And they're often built to maximize engagement, which might mean pushing sensational stuff, maybe even misleading stuff, over balanced views.
Right, whatever keeps us clicking.
Exactly. And that subtle shaping of our info environment, it can influence our thoughts, our beliefs, in ways we don't even realize. That kind of reduces our self-direction. Then there's just the addictive nature of social media, the constant pings, the endless scroll. It can make you feel controlled by the platform, acting out of habit, not choice.
Yeah, that mindless scrolling thing.
And looking ahead, AI, automation, they raise real questions. If machines make more decisions for us, where does our agency fit? Our sense of purpose?
That's been unnerving, thinking about these invisible forces steering our choices, even thoughts. Okay, let's shift a bit. Mental well-being and agency. The sources really linked these two.
Oh, absolutely. A strong sense of agency is tightly linked to mental health. When we believe we can influence our lives, we tend to be happier, more resilient, less anxious.
Makes sense.
But lots of things in modern life can erode that belief.
Like what? What are the pressures making us feel less in control?
Information overload is a big one. Just the constant flood of news, the comparisons on social media. It can lead to feeling helpless, like the world's too chaotic and nothing I do matters.
That doom scrolling feeling.
Exactly. And the pressure to be perfect, you know?
Yeah.
Achieve some crazy ideal of success, that whole hustle culture thing.
Yeah, it's intense.
It can be really damaging. Because when you inevitably fall short of impossible standards, you blame yourself, even for things outside your control.
Right.
And then there's learned helplessness. If you face setbacks repeatedly, you might start believing your efforts don't work. So you give up, even when maybe there are opportunities. That feeling of, why even try? It just kills agency.
Yeah, that's tough. But the sources also talked about ways to fight back, right? Therapy, self-help, they can help reclaim control.
Definitely. Many therapies, like CBT cognitive behavioral therapy, directly tackle this. They help you spot and challenge those negative thought patterns that feel powerlessness.
Changing how you think about things.
Exactly. Learning to reframe thoughts, develop better coping skills, that gives you back a stronger sense of agency in how you respond to challenges. Mindfulness practices, too, they're huge.
Being present.
Yeah. Becoming more aware of your thoughts and feelings right now. That lets you act with more intention instead of just reacting automatically to whatever hits you.
So consciously getting back that intentionality, making deliberate choices. Now, despite all these challenges, the source has also pointed to some hopeful trends, things suggesting we want to reclaim control.
That's a really encouraging point, yeah. We are seeing shifts that reflect this deep desire for more control. Minimalism, for instance.
Getting rid of stuff.
Right. It can be seen as consciously rejecting consumerism, that feeling of being overwhelmed by possessions. It lets you intentionally focus on what actually matters to you.
Okay.
Digital detoxes, same idea. A deliberate effort to unplug, regain control over your attention, your time.
Taking back your focus.
And the whole self-improvement boom. Books, podcasts, apps on habits, productivity, mental fitness. It all points to wanting more self-direction, believing we can shape our own lives.
Right, the drive to optimize ourselves, but maybe in a healthier way.
Hopefully. And of course, social movements, people banding together for change on issues they care about. That's powerful collective agency right there.
Definitely inspiring.
Yeah.
Okay, let's really zoom in now on social media, because that feels like a place where agency gets particularly vulnerable. The source has really dug into how these platforms are often designed in ways that can erode our control.
Yeah, this is so crucial to grasp if we want to protect our agency. These platforms are incredibly smart about capturing and holding our attention, and yeah, often at the expense of our conscious control.
So how do they do it? What are the design tricks?
Well, one big one is variable rewards. Think of it like a slot machine. You never know when the next like, comment, or notification will pop up, but that unpredictable possibility keeps you checking compulsively. It builds a habit loop driven by anticipation, not conscious choice.
The little dopamine hit.
Pretty much. Then there's algorithmic control. Super powerful. The platform's algorithms decide what you see, and they're usually optimized for engagement.
Keeping you on the app.
Right. Which might mean showing you stuff that gets a strong emotional reaction, positive or negative, maybe not what's accurate or good for your well-being. This subtle curation shapes your beliefs, your moods, without you realizing. It reduces your self-direction and what info you get.
That's kind of creepy. This invisible hand steering what we see and maybe what we think. What else? How else does the design hurt agency?
Social comparison is huge. Feeds are often these curated highlight reels, right?
Yeah, everyone's perfect life.
And it's so easy to feel inadequate, like you're not doing enough, not living up to some impossible standard. This comparison trap can push us to seek external validation like comments instead of focusing on our own goals and values.
Chasing approval instead of what matters to you.
Exactly. And finally, just the basic design. Infinite scroll, easy app switching. It fragments our attention. It trains our brains against deep focus. That weakens willpower for long-term goals that need sustained effort.
It's like our focus muscle is being deliberately weakened.
Yeah.
But okay, the good news. The source has also offered practical ways to fight back. Right? To reclaim agency on social media.
Absolutely. First step, consciously shift from passive scrolling to active choice. Before you open an app, pause. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Do I have a purpose or am I just killing time?
Be intentional.
Yeah. And use the tools. App timers, grayscale mode on your phone. They can disrupt that automatic scrolling habit surprisingly well.
Grayscale? Really?
Yeah, it makes it less visually appealing, less stimulating. Also, actively curate your feed. This is vital. Unfollow accounts that make you feel bad, envious, angry, anxious.
Ditch the negativity.
Right. And follow stuff that actually educates you, inspires you, aligns with your real interests. Schedule agency time, too.
Like offline time.
Exactly. Block out screen-free time daily for focused activities. Reading, a hobby, just thinking. It helps rebuild concentration, self-control. And finally, try using social media as a tool, not a habit. Post your art, check a specific group, then consciously close the app. Don't get sucked into the endless feed.
Those are really concrete things. Okay, shifting beyond just social media. The source has also had these neat little everyday practices to strengthen agency overall. These feel like things anyone could start doing.
Totally. Agency isn't just about big decisions. It's built up through small daily acts of self-governance, like the 2-minute rule.
Like that.
If a task takes less than 2 minutes, quick email reply, putting something away, short call, do it immediately. Don't put it off.
Ah, okay.
It reinforces that feeling that you can directly influence your environment. Simple, but effective.
I like that. What else?
Reversing learned helplessness when you feel stuck, overwhelmed. Instead of focusing on what's beyond your control, consciously ask, what's one small thing I can control right now?
Find one controllable action.
Yeah, like if global politics feel overwhelming, maybe focus on local volunteering, something in your direct sphere of influence.
Makes sense. Focus energy where it counts. Any other everyday tips?
There's a cool body over mind trick. Feeling powerless, sluggish, stuck in negativity, change your physical state first.
Oh.
Stand tall, good posture for a couple of minutes. It can actually affect your body chemistry, boost confidence hormones, or take a brisk walk, even a short one. It physically disrupts passive mental loops, resets emotional spirals.
Movement affects mood.
For sure. Science shows a strong link. Another one. Establish small choice rituals. Start your day making a few trivial but deliberate choices. Outfit, breakfast, top priority for the day.
Even tiny choices matter.
Yeah. These little acts of self-direction build a stronger sense of autonomy overall. It carries over. And finally, the pause button practice.
I know that.
When you feel stressed, reactive, impulsive, consciously insert a 10-second pause before you act. Ask yourself, is this how I want to use my energy? It's powerful for arguments, impulse buys, social media reactions, lots of things.
Just take a breath before reacting. Wow. Those are all so doable. It really drives home that agency isn't abstract. It's something we build with small, intentional actions.
Precisely. Agency isn't fixed, like you have it or you don't. It's a skill, like a muscle. It gets weaker with distraction, stronger with deliberate action. Modern life pulls us towards passivity, right?
Yeah.
Constant demands, distractions. But every intentional choice, no matter how small, even just turning off a notification consciously, it's a vote for self-ownership, as the sources put
All
it.
for self-ownership. I like that.
The goal isn't total control. That's unrealistic. It's about awareness. Knowing when you are making a choice versus just being directed by habits or external forces.
This has been incredibly useful, really unpacking agency. Okay, let's try and wrap up the key takeaways for you, our listener. Basically, agency is our power to influence our lives, make choices, take action.
Right.
It's got deep historical roots, evolved through different ways of thinking. And today, yeah, it faces challenges, tech, info overload, but there's also this real drive to reclaim it. We see it in trends like minimalism, digital detoxes, self-improvement. And while social media can be designed to undermine our control,
Understanding how helps us fight back.
exactly, using those strategies we talked about, and ultimately building personal agency comes down to those small, everyday practices, reinforcing our ability to act with intention.
Couldn't have said it better. And maybe one last thought for you to chew on.
Okay.
Think about one specific area in your life right now where you feel, well, a lack of control. A bit powerless, maybe? Based on everything we've talked about today, what's just one small, intentional action, however tiny it seems, that you could choose to take, maybe even today, just to nudge that feeling even slightly towards a greater sense of agency?
Bye.